In this video, I want to talk about 3 things that we need to learn with regards to street riots in particular. Stick around. This video might be controversial for some people, maybe not so much with a large part of my audience, but controversial to some nonetheless. The riots of 2020 were a big catalyst to the creation of my channel and the content that I put out. I don't want to get into politics with this video, but what I saw in 2020 for the most part was everything but peaceful protesting. It wasn't nothing but a bunch of outrage, violence, vandalism, and attacks on people who had nothing to do with anything. I saw so much footage of people just minding their business, trying to get from one place to another. That was jumped, smashed over the head, brutally beaten. It was an awakening. It was an awakening for me at that point in my life that the type of education and the things that I talk about are very relevant and will continue to be. But when it comes to violence, there are a lot of things that we can learn from riots in particular. Number one, the natural flow of our society and city streets can change with one news report. So don't ever let the normal flow of society, though it may last several years at a time, cause you to become complacent with regards to the preparation to be able to protect yourself and your family. It took one day for our city streets to get turned upside down for months. Not only city streets, but neighborhoods. It's good not to fall into this mentality of thinking, well, things have been normal for a while and it's pretty chill for the most part. That was just an election year kind of thing. No, anything can spark widespread outrage in a moment. If you're out and about in one of those moments, on one of those days, are you prepared to take care of yourself? Do you have what you need on hand, on your person, and in your vehicle? Are you prepared for 4, 5, maybe even 10 idiots to jump on your car one day, commuting to and from work? Where would you be today if this was the day a riot happened before you even knew what was going on in the news? Would you be at least a little bit prepared? You can't always count on the police. You see how it worked out in 2020, didn't you? The second thing we learn about riots is that people at large, for the most part, are not as inherently good as we think they are. Yes, there are a lot of nice people out here who get up in the morning and mind their business, and they're kind to their neighbor and they're easygoing. But there are multitudes, countless individuals who are just looking for an excuse for their outrage. When you run across what you deem to be a decent person, be thankful for it, because there are plenty of indecent people to think about. People get mad at me when I talk about this and they say, man, you're trying to act like society's just downright terrible. I didn't say that. I just said that there is plenty of evil out there waiting in the wings to do its thing. And if you're living like it doesn't exist, you may be the next victim, because you won't be looking for it and you won't be prepared. And anybody who has this mentality that society for the most part is good and we don't have to worry about anything will be quite shocked if they ever have to drive down a city street where hundreds are after their head. So for those who see the world as a theme park where everyone's good and everything's okay, will probably change their view if they ever survive a riot. And you'll be even more surprised if you're ever put in a situation where it's every man for himself. What we also learn about riots or any kind of public situation, public outrage, is what we're wearing and what we have on us does matter. Let's start with simple clothing. When I go out in public, when I'm in the public square, I don't care if it's a grocery store, the mall, or anywhere where there's a lot of people, you're not going to see me walking around in the kind of shoes that I can't run or fight in. You never know when there's going to be a public shooting or something could happen and you need to take off running. I hear all these guys who walk around in public in flip-flops say, well, I'll just take my flip-flops off and run. That's fine until you have to run down a sidewalk or run through a building where a bunch of glass has been shot. Now you're running on broken glass. I understand why people don't think about these things, and I'm not trying to throw stones at you if you like to wear flip-flops. I don't want you getting mad at me over this. But it's my personal opinion that when you're in the public and you're going to be in public places, you need to be prepared to fight, and you need to be prepared to get away. And I just don't think wearing slip-on shoes is good for a man, especially who's out, with his family. If you're hanging out by the pool, you're walking down the beach boardwalk, you're relaxing, you're on vacation, you're hanging out around the house doing things, man, I'll throw on a pair of camouflage Crocs, or I don't wear flip-flops really anyway, but some kind of slip-on thing. I understand it, but you won't catch me wearing things I can't run or fight in public around a bunch of people. A riot will teach you the importance of everyday carry items that you can use for protection, whether it's everything from pepper spray to an edged weapon to some sort of club, baton, whatever you can carry, some kind of knuckles if they're legal for you to carry, a firearm. You'll be surprised how important those things become when you're surrounded by individuals. I saw a random guy just trying to get to his car in a parking deck that was attacked by 4 or 5 guys. They humiliated this guy. They beat him down to the ground, tore his pants off and everything. How much would that have been different had he been carrying some sort of equalizer to discourage these men from so quickly laying their hands on him? A lot of times people just end up in a riot. They may not necessarily know what's going on in the city. They may not have heard about anything on the media. And, we talk about situational awareness, but there's times when things just seize upon you. If you can have awareness, that's great. But there are times when the action just shows up right where you are. What you wear and what you're carrying in public matters. And that's why we talk about so many different types of everyday carry items on this channel. Riots teach us that everything can change in a moment, in a day's time, in a moment's time. And we need to be prepared for that, no matter how peaceful it's been for however long. Riots teach us how many wicked people there are in this world ready to do damage at a moment's notice. And riots teach us that it's very important of what we wear and what we carry out in the public eye. Have you ever been in a riot? Have you ever been a victim? Have you ever defended yourself in a riot? I'd love to hear from you. Take care.